Annual Awards Gala. As always, the Awards Gala will emphasize AAI's mission to build Africa's human capacity and promote the continent's continued development. But this year, we'll also commemorate the spirit of interdependence. As the global pandemic has demonstrated, the strength and power of our global relationships are crucial in times of crisis and achievement. Every nation's value, relevance, and success are intimately linked to and fortified by its connections to other nations, individuals, and institutions regardless of industry, sector, or time zone. We hope you enjoy the program.
Hello and welcome to you all to the 37th AAI Gala. This year also marks the 60th anniversary of the passing of one of our co-founders, Henrietta Van Noy. Henrietta Van Noy was notable for the many, many African lives that she influenced when she helped them as they came to the United States for the first time to attend colleges and universities and visitor programs. We're very grateful for all her contributions. One of the things that I think the pandemic has placed beyond doubt is that none of us can go it alone, that we all need each other to do our part and come together. It's true with our climate, it's true with the pandemic, it's true for our mutual well-being. And it's also true for this democracy project that many of us have been committed to for many years. We've chosen our honorees with this in mind. First, the African Center for Disease Control and Prevention has been a real leader in helping us all understand what we need to do collectively, even when our resources are very limited, how we can come together to fight this pandemic. The need to build public health infrastructure has had no more articulate champion than the African region of the World Health Organization. The leadership from that office has been prescient in terms of what's needed and has been very successful in rallying support and persuading us that we need to use this moment to build for a better future. Democracy shines bright and then the flame flickers for all of us. There has been no more inspiring story of democracy than that story of the people of the Republic of Malawi. And we look forward to bringing you that story to celebrate and honor their achievement.
Before we start our festivities, we want to pause to reflect on how much has changed this year by remembering the many souls that we have lost since our 2020 gala.
Founded in 1953, the Africa-America Institute is a nearly 70-year-old institution with the mission of promoting enlightened engagement between Africa and America through education, training, and dialogue. Among our principal co-founders were Henrietta Van Noy, an administrator par excellence, and Horace Mann Bond and William Leo Hansberry, two pioneering African-American activists whose work straddles the divide between African and African diaspora studies. AAI continues to embrace the philosophy of education for liberation that Bond and Hansberry espoused, a philosophy that affirms the humanity and cultivates the intellectual aspirations and excellence of all people. AAI's focus has always been on improving education in and about Africa. Our alumni include over 23,000 Africans who have received scholarships and fellowships from AAI.
The world can experience African genius because I do believe that this is showing what Africa can offer in the field of mathematics and statistics and in any field.
These Africans are now an esteemed network of alumni, many of whom are leaders and influencers across public, private, and governmental sectors in Africa and globally.
AAI promotes yearly convocations focusing on pedagogy and the state of education on both sides of the Atlantic.
And I thank the donors that have made it possible for people like me who, I can't say had no hope, but whose chances of going to college were very slim.
21st century globalism, aided by the spread of travel and ideas, has naturally given the younger generation an awareness of its common humanity that is unprecedented. But America today cannot fully embrace that awareness without vigilance toward a persistent racial inequality.
We harken back to the time of the late 60s and early 70s when we had dedicated ourselves to really helping K through 12 educators fulfill their mission. We decided that this was the perfect time to relaunch our school services program to eliminate the harmful practice of introducing students to Africa and the worldwide African diaspora through frames of domination, for example, colonization.
I like to tell the story of going to a local high school in Louisiana, and I asked them what they knew about Africa. And there was this total silence. Nobody responded. And then finally, one student, a white student, and this is an 8th grade class, he raises his hand and he says, slaves came from Africa. Well, that was correct. That was all he knew.
We think that by addressing this, by providing unbiased, scholarly, enriching, and engaging education for all our children, our hope is that all children will see more about what they have in common and will all see the contributions they have made to the forming of the modern world and can come together to work collaboratively to build a better future. This year also marks the retirement of our board chair, Steve Pfeiffer. Steve is a mentor and good friend and has brought his governance experience and knowledge and passion for Africa to all the work we do. Steve, we're going to miss you on the board. We're going to miss your voice. We're going to miss your leadership. But we're really grateful that the relationship continues. This means a great deal to me personally, Steve, since I first met you in 1990 when we were on the Wesleyan University board together, and you were the board chair, and I was the new kid on the block. The way in which you commit to institutions and stick with them for the long haul is an example to all of us.
Steve, thank you so much for your wonderful contribution to the AAI mission and to your impact on the promotion of human capacity building in Africa. Thank you for your wonderful support to all we have been doing at Rutgers University that involve partnership with the AAI. Thank you for your support to our Mandela Washington Young African Leaders Initiative. We are grateful. Thank you for your friendship. We wish you good health, and we look forward to our continued friendship with you.
You have guided AAI and put it in a leading position to continue to be a leading voice for Africa and the great African diaspora. For that, AAI and myself are eternally grateful. You now transition from chairman to champion for AAI and Africa. Thank you very much for your service. Asante sana.
Basically, Steve has always had love of Africa in his veins. I worked with Stephen on the alumni recruitment program that involved ASPAO and a sister program, AVRA, all involving bringing students to participate in degree programs in American universities. We will remember you fondly for your active participation in the state of education in Africa. We wish you well, Steve. We know that you are with us, wherever you are, that we are in your heart, as you will be in our hearts. Thank you.
To say the African American Institute was fortunate to have Steve Pfeiffer as chair of the Board of Trustees is an understatement. Having a person of his caliber and stature leading an organization can only add to its reputation. But to have him on the board for 20 years and as a chair for 5 years is comparable to winning a lottery. Steve's guidance, intelligence, experience, commitment, and generosity have allowed AAI to not only navigate uncertain times, but to make progress despite them. When you consider what he brings with him as a well-known international attorney and an internationalist in his thinking and understanding of Africa and the world, a Rhodes Scholar and a graduate of Yale Law School and Oxford University, it is no wonder AAI fared well under his leadership. And all of us on the Board of Trustees, AAI management, and the staff are sad to see him leave. While I admire Steve's many professional and academic achievements, what impresses me is his ability to convert his vision into reality. It was Steve who championed the importance of bringing AI's alumni together, which make this organization a powerful force. He helped organize events on the continent of Africa and funded them. It is a privilege to know Steve Pfeiffer and to have served on the Board of Trustees with him. He is a leader who excels in everything he does. His steadiness and unwavering dedication are exemplary qualities to follow. Steve, thank you for all you have done for AAI. I wish you great things ahead. Though you are leaving the Board of Trustees, you will always remain with all of us at AAI.
Greetings, especially greetings to our AAI Gala honorees this evening, and also to our fellow board members of the AAI Board of Trustees, our staff, and other distinguished guests. This month, I'll be stepping down after 5 years as chair of the board of AAI. This culminates a 20-year commitment to the board, which has been a great honor for me. It follows a long career of involvement with Africa, going back to the 70s, and graduate study at the School of Oriental and African Studies. I believe that we've accomplished many things during this period, and I'm very optimistic about continuing our commitment to education of Africans in the United States and on the continent, and also education about Africa, particularly in the United States, but also across the continent. As my colleagues on the board know and have heard me said before, I think that education is the greatest investment that any family, community, or government can make. It is our best chance for peace, social and racial justice, a recognition and respect for the rule of law, and gender equality in all of our communities. And it's also the only thing that can never be taken away from you. We have found consistently that our alumni, whether in the diaspora or particularly on the continent, have made consistent and remarkable contributions to their countries and have really paid back the investment that AAI and the U.S. government made in these remarkable individuals. No other organization has an asset like the alumni body of the Africa America Institute. So as I leave, I'm full of enthusiasm for the future. I'm committed to being, while not on the board, committed to working with Kofi and the current board in any areas where I can be of assistance. My particular interest is in education in Africa for girls and literacy for young women, and I'll continue to be involved in that. So I would say thank you to the board, thank you to all of those associated with AAI. It's been a great experience these 20 years, and I'm full of enthusiasm for the future. Thank you very much, and I hope you all enjoy the gala.
Thank you, Steve, and enjoy your grandchildren. This is also a joyful occasion where we welcome 3 new leaders of the board who are stepping up to fill Steve's big shoes. First is Crystal Jackson, the founder of Mosaic Genius and Head and Heart Philanthropy, and Crystal will become our new board chair. She will be helped and supported by Rebecca Lowell Edwards, who will become vice chair, and also Robert McCarthy, who will also become vice chair. We're very grateful that all 3 have made this commitment to help lead the organization through this next phase.
Our 2021 honorees exemplify the spirit of collaboration and represent the innovation and resilience that are born of interdependence.
Over the past year, as the COVID-19 pandemic has tested the resolve of millions around the globe, health professionals have come to our rescue. Time and time again, we've seen our most trusted health institutions form meaningful partnerships to ensure our safety. That's especially true of the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The Africa CDC was founded just 4 years ago, but the organization has wasted no time making a significant impact on African health. Before a single COVID-19 case was recorded in Africa, the Africa CDC formed its COVID-19 task force, demonstrating an unparalleled level of proactiveness. At the helm of the organization is Dr. John Nkangazong, who spearheaded many crucially important initiatives throughout the pandemic. As a member of the African Vaccine Acquisition Task Team, Dr. Nkangazong was instrumental in securing 400 million COVID-19 vaccine doses to date for African Union member states. He also played a key role in establishing the Africa Medical Supplies Platform, which helped secure 270 million vaccine doses, in addition to diagnostic tools, PPE, and medical equipment to aid Africa's pandemic response. Dr. Nkangazong also oversaw the establishment of the Partnerships for African Vaccine Manufacturing, which aims to have Africa manufacture 6 out of every 10 vaccines used on the continent by 2040. And as co-chair of the African CDC Consortium for COVID-19 vaccine clinical trials, Dr. Nkangazong is helping to lead several late-stage clinical trials to advance Africa's COVID-19 vaccine development. Last year, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation honored Dr. Nkangazong with the Global Goalkeeper Award to recognize his leadership in bringing together African leaders from all sectors to address the pandemic. This year, it's our pleasure to recognize him as well for his incredible efforts in spearheading the continent's ongoing pandemic response. In all that he does, he continues to exhibit why partnerships are integral to advancement, especially in the face of adversity. AAI is excited to present the Global Health Solutions Champion Award to the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
I'm Mark Sussman, the CEO of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and it is a great pleasure to be part of this tribute to Dr. John Nkangazong, the head of the Africa CDC. In a few short years, he has done an amazing job making a unique contribution to African health. And in the COVID crisis of the past year, from vaccines, from medical supplies, to treatments, to testing, he's been a tireless force and voice and leader both across the continent and across the world. And it has been an inspiration to see how he has been able to link together health ministers from across the continent, work closely with the World Health Organization, AFRO, our other award recipient tonight, and really make a transformative difference. It's a critical contribution to dealing with today's crisis, and it is even more important foundation to a new, strong platform that is going to help strengthen African health in the years and decades to come.
Greetings to you all, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kuseni Dlamini. I am the chairman of Aspen Pharmacare and Massnut Holdings Limited. It is a distinct honor and privilege to congratulate Dr. John Nkangazong for receiving the Global Health Solutions Champion Award on behalf of the Africa Centers for Disease Control. The Africa Centers for Disease Control, under the very capable and exemplary leadership of Dr. Nkangazong, has done a very good job in leading Africa's charge against the coronavirus. Dr. Nkangazong and his team have really managed to create a very compelling and burning platform that has united all African countries, and I say friends of Africa, around helping Africa to conquer the COVID-19 pandemic, which emerged unexpectedly at the beginning of 2020. His outstanding leadership has seen the Africa Centers for Disease Control assuming global stature and respect that hitherto it did not have. And he's reached out to governments across the continent and to us in the private sector. We've had him, for example, visiting our Aspen factory in Quebec in South Africa, where we manufacture the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. The collaboration and partnership and support from the Africa CDC under his leadership has been immensely useful in helping Africa to maximize its share of vaccines, which we all know that have been a source of controversy, as we saw rich countries really practicing what has come to be known as vaccine nationalism, hoarding vaccines, while African countries were left at the bottom of the queue. Dr. Nkengasong has been a great champion for Africa to have its equitable and fair share of vaccines. Vaccines are very important, ladies and gentlemen, because we know the pandemic is not about to go anytime soon. We need to learn to live with it. We all need to vaccinate. We all need Africans in rural areas, in urban areas, in poor communities, and in all sorts of sectors of our continent, from West Africa to East Africa, Southern Africa to North Africa. We need all Africans to have access to vaccines. Thank you very much.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Greetings from Kigali, Rwanda. It is my distinct pleasure to speak about our first honoree this evening, Dr. John Nkengasong. I can think of no one who better embodies the words Global Health Solutions Champion. From the outset of the COVID crisis, John and the Africa CDC mobilized the African continent's response. Everything from testing and tracing and diagnostics to treatment, vaccine manufacturing, and the rollout of vaccinations across Africa. The African Union has set a very bold target of 60% of adults who need to be vaccinated over the next 2 years. That means 780 million people. From the outset, we also began working with John very closely, initially about distributing tests, and more recently, together we announced a partnership, a historic partnership of $1.3 billion to acquire vaccines, roll out vaccinations, stand up manufacturing on the continent, and to continue to strengthen this important institution of the Africa CDC. I like to think that in times of crisis, all leaders are tested. And clearly, John has risen to the call. This is a leader who has been working tirelessly for Africa. He has spent time debunking myths, unpacking the science, and making all of it accessible to us. John, you are the leader. You've come at the right moment to address the defining crisis of our time. It's been an absolute privilege working with you. Congratulations.
Greetings from the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Addis Ababa. I am deeply honored and grateful to receive this award on behalf of Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention as the Global Health Solutions Champion recipient for 2021. This award is testimony to the significance of the role that innovative health solutions play, especially as the world grapples with a pandemic, and also a reminder that more work needs to be done to create a safer and healthy world. This past year has been both challenging and rewarding for Africa's CDC in guiding the African continent in its battle against COVID-19 pandemic and in building resilient health systems. It has been an enriching experience working with all the staff of the Africa CDC and African Union member states and other partners, including working with the World Health Organization in our battle against COVID-19, and one that will always warm my heart to be part of a noble cause as a demonstration of Africa taking its own health security destiny in its hands. I would like to express my profound gratitude to the African American Institute for conferring on Africa's CDC such an honor. This award has humbled us at Africa CDC and the African Union Commission, and thus caused me to further reflect, and perhaps mostly, I hope this award demonstrates that our collective tiny efforts can accumulate into huge and remarkable results. Let us together continue to build a better and safer world. I thank you so much once again for the honor.
This year marks the 60th anniversary of the African Scholarship Program of American Universities, also known as AAI's ASPAL program. Perhaps there's no better example of interdependence than ASPAL. In 1961, the scholarship program was established through a collaborative effort between the African American Institute, several American universities, the United States Agency for International Development, and multiple African governments. The objective was to place African undergraduates in American universities. For the young ascendant African students who were awarded scholarships, they accessed a transformative opportunity that rounded out their academic studies and dramatically altered their career trajectories. For the universities, they tapped a new source of talent that could deliver fresh ideas and perspectives, inspired by different lived experiences. While in the program, scholarship recipients could also attend short-term, on-the-job training at private firms and organizations, as well as special workshops about African development, communications, economic development, engineering, and management. ASPAL provided a firm base of support for African undergraduate students in the U.S., opening doors to new opportunities and unlocking possibilities for bright futures. The program ran until 1975, and in that time, more than 1,600 scholars from 32 African countries were awarded scholarships. And ASPAL laid the foundation for many of the African American Institute's current programs, including the Jim Ovia Foundation Leaders Scholarship and the EADB AAI STEM Scholarship. But the program's impact can also be felt in other profound ways. First, ASPAL played a direct role in fostering a productive and positive relationship between Africa and the Americas, in utilizing American universities to cultivate African talent, which proved to be a mutually beneficial partnership. And second, ASPAL itself was the result of interdependence between numerous stakeholders, all of whom united in service of a common goal. As we look back on ASPAL's impact and influence, we're reminded that every nation's success is interlinked with the progress and achievements of others. Now we'll hear directly from a group of inspiring ASPAL graduates who used the program as a launching pad for professional success.
Today, we mark the 60th anniversary of the African Scholarship Program for American Universities. We're going to tell you the story of ASPAL with the help of some of the members of that program.
That got on the flight leaving Lagos, Nigeria, on August 4th, 1961. On the journey to the United States to attend these universities, in my case, the University of California at Los Angeles.
We first came from Ghana with 16 Ghanaians and about 100 Nigerians and other Africans. We came on the flight called the Flying Tigers.
The ship experience was our first experience in international living, because not only did we meet Africans from other parts of Africa that we had never met before, a number of us had never met an African from another country.
The organization was very thorough in making sure that our entry into American society is as smooth as possible.
Through the liberal arts college education, I was soon to discover that my interest in studying engineering was not incompatible with newly discovered interests while I was in college for the study of philosophy, religion, politics, economics, and yes, even music.
But as we went through the program, we found out that knowledge is inexhaustible. You can get more and more. None of us ever thought of going to graduate school. And so I talked to one of my professors, Professor Coleman, and he said, oh, maybe what you want to do is industrial and systems engineering. I said, but what can I do that? So he described what that entailed. He himself he got his PhD from Columbia University in New York. So he said, Columbia, there are other places, Rensselaer. So I began applying for graduate studies.
By giving me the opportunity to earn my university degree in the United States, ASPAL has had such an impact in my life. Unable to return to my country to work in post-colonial development as I had hoped, I have sought opportunities where I can make an impact in my work as a college counselor, agency director, social worker, as a program manager, community leader, teacher, and human services executive.
Perhaps the most important and lasting impact of the ASPAL program derived from the fact that when I arrived in the US, I did not arrive by myself.
The AAI scholarship can be described as a major trajectory in the life of a lot of my colleagues who came with me. None of us would have attained what we attained in life, but for the program.
I was accompanied by a group of extraordinary students from other countries in Africa. And then in subsequent years, we were joined by even more students, more brilliant students from Africa. I well remember the early days of vigorous, loud, and heated debates, arguments about politics, everything Africa, politics, religion, tribalism, corruption, and whether socialism was better than capitalism or vice versa. I think those debates, those arguments actually helped me rediscover Africa and the importance of Africa to all of our lives.
As fate would have it, I met my husband, Dr. Ike Hezekiah, a nuclear engineer who also turned out to have been an ASPAL scholar. I moved to Pennsylvania, and together we have built a family. It is by far our most important and impactful work. This would not have happened without ASPAL.
This impact in terms of the transformational change that a small seed that was sown by the African American Institute to educate, a handful of people who in turn get educated and then dedicate themselves to educating more people.
ASPAL was good for me because it provided an opportunity to open my life and my world. I will always be grateful. Thank you, AAI, and all those that work with you to make ASPAL possible.
I have a lot to be thankful for because
on this special day, I want to say thank you to AAI and ASPAL, and I want to wish you a happy 60th anniversary.
It is my privilege to introduce Dr. Moeti. Dr. Matshidiso Rebecca Moeti is the World Health Organization's Regional Director for Africa and the first woman to occupy this position. She's a medical doctor and public health expert with more than 40 years in national and international experience. Dr. Moeti obtained her Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery degree from the University of London, and she has a Master of Science in Community Health from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. Prior to joining World Health Organization, Dr. Moeti worked with Botswana's Ministry of Health in various capacities. She has also worked with UNAIDS as the team leader of the Africa and Middle East desk in Geneva and with UNICEF as the regional health advisor for East and Southern Africa. Dr. Moeti's first term at the Health of Regional Office for Africa started in 2015. In February 2020, she was confirmed by the World Health Organization Executive Board after her resounding re-election for a second term. Over the past 5 years, Dr. Moeti has led a transformation agenda that is widely acknowledged to have improved WHO's performance and effectiveness and to have informed the global WHO transformation. Under Dr. Moeti's leadership, tremendous progress has been made, including interruption of wild poliovirus transmission in the WHO African region. This is the second disease to be eradicated from the region after smallpox 40 years ago. Capacities to respond to health emergencies like COVID-19 and Ebola have also improved significantly. Through the regional flagship program of universal health coverage, WHO is supporting countries to ensure people can have access to needed health care without financial hardship. Dr. Moeti has worked with the WHO Regional Office for Africa since 1999, and she has held various senior positions. She successfully led WHO's 3x5 initiative in the African region, which aimed to expand access to antiretroviral therapy in various countries. In recognition of her service to humanity, Dr. Moeti has received many accolades, including an honorary fellowship from London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, an honorary doctorate of science from the University of Health and Allied Sciences in Ghana, honoris causa doctorate by Instituto de Hygiene e Medicina Tropical, Universidade Nova de Lisbon, COVID-19 heroine by Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, President Center for Women, and nominated Woman of 2020 Financial Times. She is a great champion for women in leadership and in global health.
It is my pleasure to share a few words of congratulations to my colleagues at WHO Afro. We have worked together closely in my capacity as chair of the Africa Regional Certification Commission for Polio Eradication, and with dedicated partners, governments, health workers, and communities, including polio survivors, we have achieved tremendous success. We, the ARCC, certified on August 25, 2020, last year, that the wild poliovirus had been kicked out of Africa after a 25-year battle that was first called for by Nelson Mandela, the Yaoundé Declaration. More than 1.8 million people are able to walk today who would otherwise have been paralyzed by the virus, and 180,000 deaths have been averted in Africa. The last strongholds of wild poliovirus in Africa were in communities living in the most precarious circumstances, affected by poverty and conflict. As part of the Afro Transformation Agenda from 2015 onwards, this very special woman that I have a lot of admiration and esteem for, Dr. Matshidiso Moeti, put the polio program under her direct oversight, which reinvigorated Afro's commitment to eradicating polio. Afro increased the number of polio staff and introduced new approaches and innovations, such as geographic information systems, to track the reach of interventions and detect cases, even in the most remote and undeserved communities. Now, the polio infrastructure is playing a vital role in responding to COVID-19 and outbreaks of other diseases such as measles, Ebola, cholera, etc. So I heartily congratulate Dr. Moeti and the WHO Afro team once again and commend their resolve to realize better health for people in Africa and around the world. I am very proud of you all. Congratulations.
Many congratulations on a well-deserved honor. As Regional Director, you are transforming the WHO Afro Office into an organization fit for purpose for the 21st century and to improve health of all Africans. The still expanding COVID pandemic continues to be a tragedy for many Africans and is exacerbated by the absolutely unacceptable access to COVID vaccines. However, this crisis has also shown the new and unprecedented strength of public health leadership and institutions in Africa. That's a big change. And one hallmark of leadership and of success is to work in genuine partnerships. And that's also something you've been doing. Partnerships with governments, with civil society, with businesses, with other institutions, including with Africa CDC. So in that context, I'm also pleased to see that John Kengasong, the leader of Africa CDC, is being honored and that you're working so well together. Again, congratulations and keep the great work going. Africa needs you.
I'm Mark Sussman, the CEO of the Bill & Melinda Gates Foundation, and I'm incredibly honored to be able to be part of paying tribute to Dr. Tsidi Moeti, the head of the World Health Organization's Afro region, and all of the tireless staff that work across WHO in Africa. They have had one of the most challenging, but also one of the most transformative and impactful years in their history. And Dr. Moeti has been a tireless leader working across issues of gender equity, of the direct response to COVID, of making sure that we do not neglect and forget the many other health challenges and diseases, from malaria to polio to neglected tropical diseases, where we have strong partnerships. And it's been amazing to watch, to see, to partner, to be able to provide help and support, and above all, to be able to see how she, working with the African CDC, working with ministries of health, working with global partners, has been able to lay a platform that is going to allow Africa to finally tackle the COVID crisis fully in the year ahead, and to lay a platform for tackling future global crises going forward. Dr. Moeti, thank you for your friendship and your leadership.
Friends and colleagues of the Africa America Institute, distinguished guests, I'm so thrilled to accept the Global Health Equity Award on behalf of everyone at the World Health Organization in Africa, from our regional team in Brazzaville to more than 2,400 staff in offices across the continent. I thank you. I'd like to appreciate Mr. Kofi Apenteng and the Board of Trustees for this recognition and for your leadership in promoting African excellence and engaging and connecting with the diaspora. I hope that we can build on this by working together to mobilize the bright minds and hearts of African sisters and brothers making a difference around the world to contribute to social and economic progress on the continent. I'd like to congratulate my fellow awardees, His Excellency President Lazarus Chakwera and the people of Malawi, my colleague and friend Dr. John Kengasong and the Africa CDC, and Ablade Glover, whose art captures the energy of life in Ghana. For us at WHO, this award is a testament to the WHO team's round-the-clock assistance to countries to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic, while also ensuring that other hard-fought gains are not reversed. For decades now, we've worked side by side with governments, communities, and other partners to save lives and to prevent the spread of diseases like HIV and malaria. We've invested in the health and well-being of women, adolescents, children, and men, and there is still much more to do. We're supporting countries to attain universal health coverage and to have health systems that are stronger and more resilient. Equity is a driving principle and also a goal which is guiding our actions. As you know, the COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated inequities that have very long histories. From the Black Lives Matter movement to the livelihoods disrupted among the world's most vulnerable people, COVID-19 is calling out all of us to do more to redress deep-rooted, institutionalized injustices that have a direct impact on health. Together, we must make this pandemic and the focus it brought on equity a turning point towards preparing better for the next crisis. Attention to equity in communities, countries, and internationally brings huge opportunities to make progress for everyone's benefit. Our continent is ripe with the promise of a young and capable population, of innovators building homegrown solutions, and of philanthropists and civil society activists pushing forward together for transformative change. We've worked hard to provide them with some opportunities and to increase investment and attention to African-led research so it can better influence continental and global priorities and action. So in closing, we are eager to engage with you as partners striving for better health for people in Africa and globally. Thank you once again for this award, and I look forward to stronger collaboration together for health equity.
Every AAI alumnus has potential. Each cohort has a spark, an undeniable talent that will manifest itself in impactful projects. It's simply AAI's job to nurture that talent and send each student out into the world to see what they can achieve. And when they achieve greatness, we all feel an indescribable sense of pride. This year's Lifetime Achievement Award recipient is no exception. Abolade Glover is an alumnus of AAI's African Graduate Fellowship Program, also known as AFGRAD. Through AFGRAD, he earned his master's degree from Kent State University in 1972. And since, he has become an internationally renowned artist, holding an especially significant place in Ghana's contemporary art scene. He trained in Ghana, Britain, and the US before embarking on a groundbreaking career. Abolade is known for its colorful and highly textured oil paintings of Ghanaian marketplaces, landscapes, and urban spaces. It's these paintings that have captivated art enthusiasts and collectors around the world. Today, his work can be found in both public and private collections in UNESCO's Paris headquarters, Chicago O'Hare International Airport, and the DEI Center in Accra, Ghana. Additionally, Abolade is the founder and director of the internationally acclaimed Artist Alliance Gallery in Ghana, creating pathways to prominence for other African artists. Throughout his nearly 60-year career as an artist, Abolade has been widely recognized. He's a Life Fellow of the Royal Society of Arts in London, a Fellow of the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences, and a previously recognized Distinguished AFGRAD alumni. At every step of his career, he has developed a timeless and distinct artistic voice, and he has continued to achieve time and time again, never ceasing to amaze. In thinking about tonight's theme of interdependence, Abolade represents another angle. In his time with AAI and during his studies in the US, he honed his craft and began paving his path. But we needed him as well to delicately and beautifully capture the world around us and to show us just how far AAI's Launchpad can take us. We are proud to present the Lifetime Achievement Award to Abolade Glover.
My name is Nat Nunwamate. I am an architect and an art historian. I was also the mayor of the city of Accra. During my term in office, I took a great deal of interest in the creators, the artistic community in my city, because I was convinced that
A city cannot grow without the input of its arts, the dancers, the musicians, the painters, the sculptors. Among the arts people with whom I worked very closely was Professor Abladi Glover. I have always enjoyed Abladi Glover's creations because he focused on what makes this country, gives it its soul, the people. The people at their ordinary, going shopping in the markets, working in the fields, sitting in the trotro to move around the city. And he brought glory to ordinary living. And that, I think, is what great art is all about. Clarifying the glories that we have in our ordinary day-to-day existence. For that, I am very grateful that he's received this award. I'm sure a lot of my countrymen would join me in congratulating him for an award well deserved. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Na Jama Glover Osafo. Na Jama Omanyeyo Glover Osafo. And I'm the fourth of 7 of Daddy's children. And I'm a medical doctor, I'm a pediatrician. This is just to congratulate Daddy on the award of the Lifetime Achievers from AFGRAD. We're proud of you. We always have been. You've been a trailblazer. You have taught us that the sky is definitely not the limit, and we can go much further than all of that. And so today, on behalf of all of us children, our cousins, everyone in the family, we're saying a huge congratulations on receiving this award. I think it's very well deserved. Your whole life has been an inspiration. The story from childhood, coming from almost nothing and nearly missing opportunities to education, to the various ways that God opened opportunities for you to study higher learning, and how you've used that to impact your generation. Right now, you've put Ghana and African art, Ghanaian and African art on the international map, and you've set an example that many others, especially the youth, can follow. You've taught them that it is doable. You've taught all of us that it is doable. You're a hard worker. At 87, you still wake up at 5 a.m. to make sure you paint. And it's a beauty to watch you going strong and still doing what you love to do, and watching the passion with which you do it. I still remember you saying just a few weeks ago that there's so much work to be done. And I thought, at 87, so much work to be done. Wow, that leaves a lot for us who are much younger. So yes, we're very proud of you. We think you very well deserve this award. Please enjoy it and know that you're very much loved. Thank you so much for being who you are. We love you.
Well, my name is Luis Kudo, and I'm a protege of Professor Glover. And if anybody actually deserves to be awarded this lifetime achievement, the African American Institute Lifetime Achievement, is the one. Because he single-handedly created an environment for artists to grow, and by setting up the Artist Alliance Gallery. And he's been a benefactor, a teacher, and a mentor to many of us artists. So I congratulate him on the award.
This award has come as a huge surprise. And it came at a time when it's like coincidence, but I can't believe such coincidence. It's too much. It's really a lot. that some years ago, that's over 4 or maybe 50 years ago, I was a recipient of AAI award, that's Avgrad award, to study in the US. That was an intervention, I would call it, in my life, because I had ended the university and I thought I was going to make that career, my career. That is, now I've come to the end of the road and I'm going to make a career. So got to get the necessary, all the necessary qualifications that will carry me to the end, the very end of the academic work, academic career. But that opportunity, that kind of thing wasn't there. And therefore I consider Avgrad scholarship to study abroad as an intervention. Maybe you can call it divine intervention. And I had the opportunity to study at Kent State University. At the time, Kent State itself had made history, had made some kind of history when there was a shooting. And therefore, when I got the message that I was going to Kent, and I read from the Newsweek, it didn't quite settle well. But getting the opportunity was the greatest thing. And I had the opportunity. So whilst I was there, I thought this opportunity must use it well. I must use it well. And therefore, the master's degree, for which they gave me the scholarship, wouldn't be the end for me. And I hurriedly went through the master's degree. In the university, they call it you're loading yourself. I loaded the subjects, finished the master's, and quickly entered the PhD program, which is, for me, to be the ultimate. And there were obstacles, difficulties, but again, there's always somebody who comes in. Like I mentioned Professor Efland, who was my advisor and was like a personal friend. Like I became like a child of his, and he really was something. I'm most grateful for that. And then I started a PhD program at Ohio State, and then my university in Ghana came in and they wanted to stop me, and Efland wouldn't let them, and they had to settle on the conditions. Finally, they agreed on some conditions that I'll return to Ghana to write my dissertation, and Efland agreed that, okay, we'll take that. And that's what happened. Finally, I returned to Ghana and wrote my dissertation. I went back, and when I went back, Professor Efland had then stepped in again to pay my fees, make sure that I was registered that particular semester. It was all something like it's not in your hands, but a mighty hand guiding one's life. And to this day, I returned to the university to continue my teaching, and I did what I must do as a university teacher. I met great students, good students, people who really were eager. And of course, I met students too who came to get a degree and go, that kind of thing. But it was all interesting and challenging, and it all helped to mold me. We did open this gallery. We opened at Lungwa first, and it wasn't working because of the traffic to Lungwa. We saw that I come from La, so it was easier to see the people, the old people here in La, the elders, and they agreed to give me this property. And everybody was like helpful. People want to help. They asked us to take as much property here as we liked at the time, and we started. There were obstacles, what I call challenges. They're not obstacles really, they were challenges, like financial challenges. Like when we started, we had got some savings, money that we were going to use to build a gallery, simple. But when we started, the city said anybody building here must do a sea defense. Now, that was in our budget. So that rattled us. And by the time we finished the sea defense, the money is finished. EDIF, Export Development and Investment Fund, came in. And we got that kind of help to finish the gallery. So I can say, I'm convinced that AAI, through AFGRAD, came just at the nick of time, came in to put me on the path to where I've reached now. Without AAI, I'm not sure whether AFGRAD, that is whether my career as a university lecturer, university teacher, would have gone on smoothly, I would have finished. Because the university was changing, and they were changing from having university lecturers without PhD degrees. You know, they wanted to improve their staff and so on. So whatever you climb to, it depends upon what you have. And AFGRAD, I cannot be grateful enough, really. I cannot be grateful enough. I think it's a miracle. And it has helped to chart my course. Whilst I was there, apart from studying, I met some teachers. I've already mentioned I've learned, but I met some teachers who were really practicing teachers, but they were practicing. And I thought that was, I hadn't seen that before. For me, I know a teacher is a teacher here, when I having come from Ghana. But meeting teachers who are into the business, into the job, you know, they bring experiences to the classroom, to the lectures, and that was amazing. So I'm grateful. I'm amazing. I'm grateful. I cannot describe it. But to ground it all, that this time that AI is thinking of giving me an award, only 2 weeks ago, and I mentioned it, only 2 weeks ago, the Millennium Excellence Award, which had awarded me something 10 years ago, you know, giving me a Millennium Excellence Award for art and culture, again decided to give me a lifetime award. And I got that only a week, not quite 2 weeks ago. And then AI too is offering this, not offering, but actually awarding me again. It's too much of a coincidence. It's a lifetime award again, and then coincidence is too much. And I'm touched, really, and I'm grateful. I thank the institution that thought about this. I'm sure I know that they've given the same opportunity to a lot of my colleagues, and they have proven worthy of such awards. I'm grateful. Thank you. I'm very grateful.
Over centuries, Africa has evolved through various forms of governance. Nearly 20 years ago, I met my very first African leader. He was Samuel Nujoma, the founding president of the Republic of Namibia. Almost exactly 10 years after I met President Nujoma, I met with Joachim Chissano, second president of the Republic of Mozambique. Chissano told me that if I really wanted my students to understand democracy in Africa, I should bring them to Mozambique while elections were taking place the following year. So in 2009, I began doing precisely that, starting with national elections in Mozambique and continuing in several African countries over nearly a decade. My students saw this and expressed it best.
We debate about government involvement and healthcare and how we don't want our government to do this. We don't want our government to do that. In Botswana, we saw that the ARVs for people infected with HIV were provided for free because the state felt that it was its duty and responsibility to take upon such matters. So maybe we have it backwards.
I was able to get a lot of hope from being in Ghana. That's the main thing I took with me. Ghanaians, they didn't feel like, oh, if my candidate doesn't win, I'm going to have a huge hissy fit. They were just like, you know, I want so-and-so to win, but if he doesn't win, it's okay.
My real interest was to find out what Africans themselves, particularly the leaders, thought about how things were changing in African governance.
If corruption is a threat to democratization in Africa, then I would say it's equally a threat to Western civilization or the emerging BRIC nations, including China. Corruption is decaying, and decay threatens all lives.
Sometimes people forget when they try to compare Liberia to Ghana or to some of the other West African countries, they forget this whole period of destruction where we have to overcome. The idea is to make sure we learn from those lessons of experience.
Are they optimistic for the future of democracy on the continent?
There is no joy than the joy of building peace with sisters. No one has experienced this joy until you form a movement like this one. It's sincere, it's genuine, there is no fakeness in it. It's all about Liberia.
In the end, democracy on the continent is struggling, but slowly improving against many obstacles. Leaders are hopeful, but realistic.
Tonight's final award recipient has shown the world what is possible when people unite, mobilize, and persist in defense of their core principles and in pursuit of positive change. Malawi may be a small country. Held in 2019 saw the incumbent president declared the victor, but they were riddled with glaring irregularities. And rather than retreat into cynicism or abandon faith in democracy altogether, the people of Malawi demanded better, organizing mass protests focused on the electoral issues, but also on the need for more economic opportunity, on respect for human rights, and calling for an end to corruption in government. Surveys showed this wasn't just about the supporters of one candidate versus supporters of another. Concern about the quality and integrity of their democracy crossed party lines, and Malawians found ways to work together on the issues that mattered to the whole society. With courage, independence, and professionalism, courts backed them up, issuing a ruling in 2020 to annul the electoral results and calling for new polling. A new round of balloting in June of that year led to a decisive win for Lazarus Chakwera, an opposition candidate representing not just one political grouping, but a coalition of opposition parties working together. And then Malawians witnessed the peaceful and democratic transfer of power. For much of tonight, we've focused on interdependence among nations, but partnerships are necessary within nations as well. These alliances animate the civic engagement that can reimagine policies, advocate for the marginalized, hold the powerful accountable, and safeguard democratic institutions. So tonight, we present the National Achievement Award to the people of Malawi for their tireless and fearless defense of their democracy and their ongoing insistence on government that works for the people.
Hi, I'm Derek Johnson, President and CEO of the NAACP, the largest and oldest civil rights organization in the United States and designated with the UN as an NGO. The health of any society is measured by how well we care for our elderly. Are we preparing our young people for a strong and prosperous future? Do we protect the most vulnerable in our communities? And do we engage so that we can have a just governance where all of our voices can be heard? If we can do that, that is a healthy society. It is for that reason that I have this distinct honor to present to the people of Malawi and President Lazarus Chakwera the 2021 AAI National Achievement Award. Congratulations to the people of Malawi, to all of my friends at the Africa America Institute, and for everyone that's here today, especially the honorees, for celebrating our connection throughout the diaspora and appreciating the independence of our nations.
My deepest congratulations to the people of the Republic of Malawi. My heart, my soul, my spirit was in pure joy and deep gratitude witnessing a peaceful change of leadership. The honor of peace, the honor of democracy, the honor of unity, the honor of love you have showed the rest of our continent has left all of us with so much hope. Hope that other countries, like even my own of Uganda, can one day see a day like this. And hope is one of the strongest things one can have because it drives a belief that our tomorrows can be better than our yesterdays. And that hope and that belief becomes more than a dream. It becomes a possibility when you witness what the people of Malawi have accomplished. I'm inspired. Africa is inspired. And all of us, the sons and daughters of the motherland, we all have rejuvenated hope. Congratulations to the incredible people of the Republic of Malawi.
Congratulations on receiving the Africa America Institute's National Achievement Award of 2021. You came to the presidency through Malawi's peaceful democratic transition following a contested electoral process. That transition was made possible because of robust engagement by your civil society in defense of democracy, constitutionalism, and rule of law, as well as the courageous exercise of independence by your judiciary. More recently, Zambia experienced a similar peaceful democratic transition. This is a positive trend, and we trust Malawi will continue to be a champion for democracy across Africa. We also wish to congratulate you for taking over as chair of the Southern African Development Community during its 41st summit in Lilongwe in this month. As chair of SADC, you now have regional responsibilities, including ensuring access to the COVID-19 vaccine, as well as advancing research, development, and manufacturing of vaccines across Africa, addressing the rising debt crisis, and resolving the crisis in northern Mozambique. All of which is to say, you have a lot on your plate. We hope this award provides you with the reassurance that you have the faith and hope of many behind you. We look forward to stronger partnerships with Malawi and SADC for a better Africa. Once again, we extend our congratulations to you and the people of Malawi. It is now my honor to introduce His Excellency Lazarus Chakwera, President of the Republic of Malawi.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to stand before this prestigious global audience on behalf of the people of the Republic of Malawi, who are being honored here by the Africa America Institute for their collaboration and resilience in the cause of advancing democracy. When I presented to the Malawi Electoral Commission my nomination papers as a presidential candidate on the 5th day of February in the year of 2019, I had no way of knowing what the treacherous journey I was embarking on. At that time, I had been a legislator and leader of opposition for 5 years. And the law required me to relinquish both roles before presenting myself to voters as a presidential candidate. As such, even though I was to run for president against a sitting president, a sitting vice president, and a sitting cabinet minister, the law required that I do so as a private citizen with no access to state funding. And so the only reason I am president today is because the Malawian people themselves funded the campaign in their determined quest to make democracy real. As the campaign progressed, I and my campaign were exposed to numerous security risks all over the country. As cases in point, I escaped a rain of stones hailed at me in the north of Malawi while attending a cultural event, then escaped a mob armed with panga knives and clubs in the south of Malawi, and then escaped an onslaught of police tear gas in central Malawi while attending a diplomatic meeting. The only reason I'm alive and president today is because Malawians themselves protected me and gave me safe passage in their determined quest to make democracy real. Our campaign traveled the length and breadth of the country for 2 months, and our supporters braved the cold draft of May to stand in line and cast their vote. But in the middle of the night, we received reports from our monitors all over the country that the ballot papers were being doctored by election officials. And I myself held a press conference the next day to blow the whistle on the fraud, for which I was roundly mocked and ridiculed as a sore loser. And so the only reason I am president today is because the Malawian people themselves reported the electoral fraud in their determined quest to make democracy real. While the declared winner of the fraudulent election was being sworn in, I was at a press conference announcing my decision to challenge the conduct and the result of that election, a move that made me a pariah in many diplomatic circles, including the denouncement of my character in a speech before the entire United Nations General Assembly. But the Malawian people, whose democratic rights had been violated more than my own, urged me to press on and fight for justice through the courts, which they supported through peaceful demonstrations across the country. The only reason I'm president today is because the Malawian people themselves followed every minute of the court proceedings via radio to ensure that no evidence, no witness, and no judge would be corrupted. When the court case was ruled in our favor, and the 5 judges of the court ordered that a fresh election be held within 150 days, we despaired about finding enough resources to travel nationwide canvassing for votes. But we were able to run the best campaign in recent years through a coalition of 9 parties because the Malawian people themselves brought us together in their determined quest to make democracy real. You see, what the Malawian people have done since the spring of 2019, they did not do that for me, nor did they merely do it for themselves and their country. They did it for democracy, which means they did it for the liberty of all humanity, born and unborn. By standing up for their democracy, the Malawian people stood up for all democracies. It is therefore no accident that The Economist named Malawi the country of the year 2020. Nor is it an accident that Freedom House identified Malawi as the only country in the world whose democracy grew stronger in the midst of the pandemic. As such, it is fitting that this institute is pleased to honor the fine people of Malawi with this year's award, and it is my humble duty to accept it on their behalf. My prayer and appeal are that now that we have seen the Malawian people for who they are, now that you have seen that Malawians are the world's leading champions of democracy, you will also see them worthy of investing 100 scholarships to go towards training those Malawians whose positions and gifts are critical to the strengthening of the democratic institutions in which they serve. After all, if Malawian people have done great things for democracy with little, imagine what they will do for democracy with much. I thank you for listening, and thank you for this great honor.
We are on a mission to transform our continent and empower African trade to thrive. By accelerating the next generation of African businesses, we can grow stronger, trade further, and transform together. We're bringing Africa together. Afreximbank, transforming Africa's trade.
Thank you again, Kofi, and your team for inviting me to give a few remarks today as you mark your 37th annual Award Gala. You've made very fantastic selection of awardees again this year. Africans who have excelled in different fields of endeavor. President Chakwera, Dr. Kengason, Dr. Moeti are great Africans who deserve the award. We've worked very closely with each and every one of them in different things they're doing to promote development on the continent of Africa. In these days of the COVID-19 pandemic, at Afreximbank, we've focused on helping the continent to fight the virus. And we have been at the forefront of the struggle to achieve vaccine equity and fairness on the continent. Working on the platform of the Africa Vaccine Acquisition Task Team, collaborating with Dr. Kengason, Dr. Moeti, as we together try to roll back the virus on the continent. We work with the Malawi government under His Excellency President Chakwera in trying to also deal with the building back that is required following the pandemic. And with each of these, it's been a very, very rewarding experience for us. So today, on behalf of the management of the bank, Afreximbank, I say congratulations to them. I also say big congratulations to the Africa America Institute and encourage you to continue to do the good work you are doing, recognizing excellence, helping to build younger generation through education, and helping to promote development on the continent. Afreximbank will remain your partner in this endeavor. Have a wonderful 37th Gala celebration.
I'm proud, on behalf of Chevron, to join our longtime and valued partner, the Africa America Institute, AAI, for this 37th Annual Award Gala. Speaking also as a board member and an African, I'm grateful for the role AAI has had in educating, providing scholarships, and helping to shape the careers of 23,000 leaders in the public and private sector throughout the world since its founding in 1953. It's an incredible and unparalleled accomplishment. And I want to thank the AAI team for organizing this event and for bringing all of us together once again to celebrate the strides made by the distinguished awardees honored at this gala. Congratulations to His Excellency, President Lazarus Chakwera, and the people of Malawi for preserving your democracy, the Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention for your outstanding work on COVID-19, the World Health Organization's Regional Office for Africa for forging vital partnerships around the globe during the pandemic, and all the exceptional individuals being honored today. Through your effort, you have proven that Africa not only matters, but that the continent and its more than 1.3 billion residents are an integral and vital part of our world and way of life. The timely themes for this gala is interdependence. Often it takes a catastrophe like COVID-19 to remind us that we exist in this world together as one community. We are all interdependent, one country with another, one human being with another, and one partner with another. That interdependence involves responsibility, trust, and standing in solidarity with one another during tough times. It also involves sharing, demanding work, and soaring achievements done collaboratively for the well-being of others, as our awardees have demonstrated through other examples. Chevron believes in the philosophy adhered to by these leaders. They follow the right and responsible path despite the challenges. Chevron aspires to do the same. Our culture is built upon the principles of partnerships, responsibility, trust, and integrity in working with governments, businesses, communities, and organizations in Africa and around the globe. The awardees have shown during their lives the power of humanity to effectuate profound change. We at Chevron believe in the power of humanity to solve any challenge, which is why we are pleased to support this gala highlighting leadership. Thank you, Your Excellency, and all awardees for your great contributions to humanity, and thanks to AAI for bringing them to our attention. You inspire us and renew our hope. Now, speaking of hope, I would like to introduce you to an AAI initiative that is planting the seeds of hope for youth in communities throughout the United States of America. In the late 60s, the School Services Program was launched to help school districts, teachers, principals, and professional associations design K-12 curricula, Black history and Black experiences. Today, this educational focus is needed more than ever, which is why AAI relaunched it in 2020. The School Services Program works with communities in ensuring that students have an enriching and transformative experience while learning about Africa and its global diaspora. It supports schools and districts in designing curricular content free of bias and misinformation and in delivering classroom instruction that support learning, self-leadership, and academic achievement. Today's students need accurate exposure to Black history and stronger pathways to success. School Services provides that through education and empowerment. This is a program we are proud to support, and this is aligned with our corporate responsibilities. Wherever Chevron operates, we contribute to the improvement of livelihood of the communities by making strategic social investment in 3 core areas: health, education, and economic development. Because we believe that unless citizens and communities fare well, businesses cannot operate in a sustainable manner. Now you will see in the next video the work that AAI is doing in the communities.
During the long hot summer, which reminded us of the long hot summers of the late 1960s, we really thought about how we could make a contribution to what's now been called another racial reckoning. And we decided that the best contribution we could make was through our school services program. And we launched a pilot in Detroit. We picked Detroit because Detroit has a number of school districts that have really struggled for resources and have had very difficult outcomes. But we know that there is a new cohort of leaders, of educators in Detroit who are really trying to tackle this. So we've gone to Detroit and talked with them and are offering the school services program. And we're happy to say that we've begun with a pilot in 10 schools and are dedicated to offering these services to many other schools who indicate that they that they would find this helpful.
The Africa America Institute launched the School Services Program in the 1960s to help organizations, schools, and districts develop and teach curriculum that centered and included the truthful and scholarly history of African people, both from the continent of Africa and in the worldwide diaspora. Foundational to the work of the School Services Program is to ensure that no student begins to learn about Africa and African Americans through the lens of colonization and enslavement. For AAI, true curriculum content begins with the central role Africa has played from antiquity to the present in the progress of our modern world and in the role and contribution of African Americans in the development of the United States. But it's not just about amassing knowledge. What is also important is that students are taught well using research-based strategies that ensure that they achieve, especially for Black students and other students of color. It is an honor to work with and for the Africa America Institute, an organization that has a proven track record as a pillar of knowledge, caring, and action in advancing educational knowledge in Africa and the African diaspora. That the kind of education that transforms the outcomes for students and in turn promotes the transformation of the lives of their families and communities. Thank you.
My name is Danielle Jackson, and I am the CEO of University Prep Schools. In 2020, the UPrep crew had the pleasure of developing a partnership with the Africa America Institute to deepen our work in developing a culturally responsive educational program for scholars K through 12. The partnership with the Institute has been rewarding to our network, with a focused lens on exposing our scholars to the history and excellence of the African diaspora. The work we accomplished together in such a short time has been invaluable. However, there is still much work to be done. As one can imagine, deepening the content knowledge of our teaching staff to empower them to deliver a compelling and engaging curriculum on African American and Africa history takes time. To do this successfully requires focus, commitment, patience, and practice. As we continue the path forward to reimagine our classrooms and transform the lives of the young people who attend our schools, we will remember those who kindly made this partnership possible and walked alongside us in our journey. On behalf of University Prep Schools, we thank you.
We're the realists.
We're the advocates.
We're the grinders.
We're the wonks you've always hoped were out there.
We've taken everything we've learned from our company and we've put it into philanthropies, along with almost all of our profits, which means that with our partners,
we're the builders of stronger communities.
We're the naysayers to anyone who says this planet can't be saved.
And if you're the first in and the last out,
we'll be right there with you.
We're Bloomberg.
Please welcome the AAI Board Chair, Crystal Jackson.
What an amazing event this has been. Congratulations once again to all of today's honorees. Your commitment to partnerships and service is truly inspiring. Throughout the program, we've all participated from different locations all over the world, but we still created a sense of community among one another, all in service of AAI's mission and values. In a sense, our ability to come together without being together perfectly encapsulates our theme of interdependence. Because so many of the alliances we formed over the past year have happened virtually. In fact, not having those in-person connections has only further underscored how much we need one another, and also how strong our bonds are, regardless of how far apart we may be. Your interconnectedness and your generous support tonight and year-round help us continue our many important programs, scholarships, and events, including initiatives like our school services. know that you're supporting the development of Africa's human capacity and promoting the continent's development. As a special thank you for your advocacy, all of today's registered attendees will receive a free copy of the book, Africa and the Disruptions of the 21st Century, a collection of essays that interrogate the repositioning of Africa and the diasporas amid the many transformations of the modern age. I promise it's truly an essential read. As we bring this evening's program to a close, I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our sponsors and our community and business partners for their ongoing commitment, and a heartfelt thank you to an incredible board for all of your hard work and for living AAI's values in all that you do. I'd also like to recognize all AAI alumni, scholarship recipients, and program cohorts for all they've accomplished thus far and the greatness that's still to come. And last but not least, thank you to each of you for tuning in and taking time to celebrate the power of global relationships. If you still like to support AAI, head over to our website at www.aaionline.org, click the donate button on this page. Again, what an outstanding event this has been. Have a great night, stay safe, and we'll see you next year. Bye-bye for now. Thank you.
AAI's annual Awards Gala is our most important fundraiser, and it is with the generosity of donors and supporters like you that we are able to continue the many programs, events, scholarships, and initiatives that are elevating stories of African success and encouraging enlightened engagement between Africa and America. Thank you for your support. To make a donation or to become a sponsor online, visit aaionline.org/gala. We hope you enjoyed AAI's 37th Annual Awards Gala. Thank you for joining us. Stay safe and stay well.